Oh, wow, okay, so here's the deal with Game of Thrones Season 8 and the White Walkers. You know, from the very start of the show, the White Walkers were this huge, creepy threat looming beyond the wall, right? While everyone in Westeros was busy fighting and scheming against each other, the Night King was quietly building this massive army of the dead. It was this really big deal, something that could only be stopped if everyone put their differences aside and came together. Jon Snow and his closest friends were basically the only ones who really got how serious it was. But then Season 8 just kind of dropped the ball. The whole epic build-up to the Night King ended super fast in that one big battle at Winterfell. Arya Stark suddenly kills the Night King out of nowhere, and boom, the White Walkers are gone. And honestly, that left a lot of fans feeling like, wait, what? That's it? There were so many questions left hanging. Like, who are these White Walkers really? What do they want? How powerful are they exactly? The show didn't answer any of that. For 8 seasons, the White Walkers were supposed to be this unstoppable force that made everyone realize they had to work together. You had Daenerys, the Starks, Tyrion, even Jaime teaming up. That was the hope, right? But then Cersei didn't help, so the whole unity thing was kinda broken. The battle felt a bit unrealistic because of that, and after the fight, the show never really dealt with the true nature of the White Walkers. And then, Jon Snow, who spent all this time preparing for the war, never actually faced the Night King himself. It was Arya, who barely knew about them before, who landed the final blow. That moment didn't even get the spotlight it deserved. The White Walkers had so much potential as this ancient, mysterious enemy, but the show kind of just wrote them off too quickly. Now, even though the Night King shattered into ice and his army fell apart, does that really mean they're gone for good? I mean, these things are magical, right? It's totally possible that White Walkers could come back, maybe even be hiding somewhere beyond the wall, waiting for the right time. Plus, there's all that weird stuff with Craster's baby sacrifices that never got explained. Maybe there are more White Walkers growing in secret. So here's where it gets interesting. The new Jon Snow spin-off is the perfect chance to bring the White Walkers back. Jon's whole story is tied to this ancient threat, and now he could finally get the fight against the Night King that we all wanted in the original show. Imagine Jon pulling together his family and old friends to fight this new danger, forcing everyone to unite again. It would bring back those core Game of Thrones themes like sacrifice, connection, and fighting darkness. Honestly, Season 8 kinda made the biggest threat of the series feel like just a plot device. And that was disappointing. But if they bring the White Walkers back in a spin-off or sequel, it could give the story the epic ending it deserves, with the Night King as a real villain and Jon Snow finally getting his hero moment. Whether it ends happily or tragically, it closed the story full circle and maybe even fixed that divisive finale. So yeah, bring back the White Walkers. Game of Thrones needs that.